Hey guys, it's Violet. So today I'm going to be talking about something that is really touchy and potentially triggering, but I'm going to try my very hardest to stay away from things that will be triggering to people with eating disorders. So basically today I'm going to be telling you guys my eating disorder story and giving you guys a recovery update. So, okay, let's just start from the beginning. When I was growing up in our society, and even in my household, there was a lot of talk about like eating and like losing weight and staying thin. And it was hard because I was not naturally thin. Like, I've never naturally been super thin. Now, like, on the grand scheme of things, like, I'm pretty thin. I'm, like a pretty thin. I'm not super thin, but like, we'll get into why I didn't think I was like thin enough in a second. Basically, ever since I was like 8 years old, I started dieting. And like, I would be on a diet for a second and then I would get off of it. Like, it wasn't like I was always on a diet, but it definitely was something that I did. Like, I did diet and stuff. And because I just felt like I needed to fit this mold. Okay, well, that went on until I was like late 11, early 12ish. And then at that point, it started to get really intense, and I realized that I didn't look like the people around me. I wasn't thin, and I wanted to be thin so bad. Like, I wanted to be thin so bad. Like, it was like the only thing I wanted. And now I realize like there's so many way more valuable things, like way more valuable things, but that's what I wanted. That's what I'd been told that I should want. I'm sorry about the lighting, by the way. Anyway, so whenever I was like late 11, early 12, I already said that, I started struggling with an eating disorder. And so basically I was just like, I barely ever ate. I don't want to give a lot of detail because I don't want to like take you down this rabbit hole, or if you are struggling with an eating disorder or recovery, I don't want to like trigger anything. So I'm not going to give exact like what I did when I had my eating disorder, because I don't want this to become like a weight loss video, like, by any means, because that is definitely not what this is at all. Like, no, not at all. So yeah, but so I struggled with that for 2 years, and I was like, I can't give detail about that time because I just can't. Like, I feel like if this video was triggering to anyone, it would like break my heart, because that's not what I want at all. So yeah, so I struggled with that for a while. Now, I also have what's called body dysmorphic disorder, and this is something that I found on the internet when I was like 12, or I guess I was like mid 11, because this is like right before I started struggling. I was on the internet, and I was like, why do I see myself in the mirror differently than in pictures? And like differently, like, I see myself differently like every day. Like, my body looks different to me than it does to other people, and like in pictures, and it was weird. And I was like, this is something like unusual. So I found out that there is such a thing called body dysmorphic disorder. And basically what it is that if a person has something that they've perceived as a flaw, when they look in the mirror or when they see themselves, it is like so much bigger than the way anyone else sees it. So like, say if I was really insecure about my nose, when I look in the mirror, I might see a totally different nose than you do, and I could get plastic surgeries on that nose. It would still not look how I wanted it to look, and it might look how I wanted it to look to everyone else, but to me it's still wrong. So no matter how much you like obsess and try to fix that flaw, it's still going to look like a flaw to you if you have BDD, which is what's body dysmorphic disorder. Basically, I had that, but just about my body. Different things on my body. I was like really insecure, and I still have that. And it's just something I'm living with. And when I looked at it on the internet, I was like, why is this like not a very well-known thing? Because most people who struggle with eating disorders have BDD. And it's like, why aren't like people learning about this and knowing this is a thing? Anyway, and when I was reading about it, it said that like it could lead to eating disorders and blah blah blah, and I was like, oh my gosh, like that was really scary. I was like, that'll never happen. And then there we were like 3 months later, and I was like submerged into this world. I would spend like, once again, like, I'm trying not to give detail because it's like scary, but so now on to happier things. I started recovery in February of this year, and I found body positivity while I was struggling with my eating disorder, but I didn't like look into it and like really become body positive until I started recovery, because you can't like just be body positive for everyone else but still hate your body, and I thought you could, and that's what I was trying to do, and it's just like you can't. I was like a living paradox, because I was like half trying to love myself so hard but also doing things that literally make you hate yourself. And it's like, how did I think that was gonna work? I don't know, but I did. I'm smiling because like that's just my face. Like, I'm sorry. This is actually like a very heavy, dark subject, and I don't want anyone to take light of this, because I was so depressed when I was struggling with this, and I like never felt happy. I always felt sad. You know, like no matter how much my body changed a lot throughout this process, I still didn't like the way it looked. So when I started recovery, I really got into body positivity. Like, I really got into it. Like, I followed everybody I could find on Instagram that I felt like was truly body positive, and I started learning how to eat instinctively. Do real research on that. If you're recovering, eating instinctively is so hard, but like it will like help so much. And before I started recovery, I was always like, eating instinctively is fake. Like, that's impossible. Like, no one can do that. I don't believe in that, because it was hard for me. Really, really hard for me. But when I started recovery, it was just like, I have to just let go. And when I first started recovery, I thought that I was binging because I was finally eating like normal amounts of food. But when you haven't eaten normal amounts of food in 2 years, that's gonna feel like binging. Like, sometimes that is. So when you're recovering, you just have to let your body run through that. Now, some people, when they're recovering, they will develop binge eating disorder. So make sure that you're very careful when you recover, and try to have someone you can confide in that can help you. And if you don't know anyone personally, I would love to help you and talk you through. And I'm not a professional or anything, but like, I can at least be there as emotional support and try to love you through it. And I would love to do that. Yeah. A common misconception about eating disorders. This video is all over the place. I'm just trying to shove in everything important, and there's definitely going to be more videos about this. So don't worry if you're like, I need more. Like, there will be more. Don't worry. Don't worry. But a common misconception is that it's only women. And like, a lot of people think it's just like teenage girls. It's not. People of all genders can struggle from this. People of any age can struggle from this. People of any weight can struggle from eating disorders. A lot of people think that you have to be like super thin to struggle from an eating disorder. No way, Jose. You can literally, why am I a grandmother? Anyway, you can literally weigh any weight and struggle with an eating disorder. Like, that is such a bad misconception, because people are like, oh, well, she's bigger, so like, it doesn't really, like, if she has an eating disorder, we shouldn't really worry. Like, you should worry because she's a person and she's beautiful, or you should worry because he's a person and he's beautiful. And like, we had to take care of each other, you guys. Like, it's so important. And if you think one of your friends is struggling, talk to them about it. But please, I'm begging you, don't be like, I'm gonna tell an adult, because that's so scary. And that could make them have to hide it. And that can make, like, you could accidentally make them learn how to hide their eating disorder. And that's terrifying, because when you learn how to hide it, it gets worse. And so don't tell them you're going to tell someone. If you do decide to tell someone, make sure it's someone who's going to be kind and supportive and loving. And it is a good thing to tell someone. That's definitely a good thing. But you should not tell the person with an eating disorder that you're going to tell someone. And for a while, they might be mad at you and they might feel like you betrayed their trust. But I promise you that if they do eventually go into recovery, then they're going to thank you so much for that. Like, they're going to thank you so much, because my friends who helped me through the recovery process, like, I have so much love for them. And like without them, I couldn't have done this. And they just have made me feel so loved and so important through this process. And I had friends that when I was really struggling, I would message them and be like, hey, give me reasons why I need to eat. And they would send me like a list of like, 50 reasons. And that would always help. Now, when I started recovery, like, I just want to say, once you start, it's not a straight line. Like, I always thought of recovery as like the straight line. Thought someone was knocking on my door. I'm not really sure. Oh well. Anyway, I always thought of recovery as like the straight line, but that is not what recovery is at all. Recovery is like ups and downs, and like it's all over the place, because when you first start recovery, you're gonna probably do great for like 3 days, maybe even a week if you're lucky, and then you're gonna start realizing, I can't do this. Like, I can't do this. That's what you're gonna tell yourself. That's what I told myself. But the truth is that I could do it. I always had the power to do it. But I relapsed so many times, like so many times. Like, guys, in this last year, I've relapsed so many times, I cannot even tell you. Like, and some of them were for like 3 weeks, and some of them were for like a day. Like, the length of the relapse varies, but there was a lot of relapsing. So like, I'm just being honest with you guys, and I'm not confident 100% of the time. Sometimes I am like so confident. I will be like, oof, I'm looking good. Like, but other days, like, I'm not confident at all, and that's just a part of it. Like, that's just the truth, is that sometimes you're not going to be confident. So yeah. Basically, this video is getting really long and I'm rambling. If you want a part 2, like, please comment, because I never know what you guys want. Like, I sound so like typical YouTuber, and I'm not even a YouTuber. Like, I'm trash. I only post like once every 3 months, but I'm gonna try to post more. Like, I really am. And I feel like now that I'm like recording on my phone, it's my cat trying to get into my room. That's what it is. But now that I'm like more open to recording on my phone, like, I feel like I'll post more. So yeah, leave what you want in the comments. Please like and please subscribe. If you need anything, please DM me. I love you guys, and I just hope that you all find health and happiness, and I hope that you guys learn to love yourselves. And if you need help, or like literally if you guys need anything, please DM me. Also, this video is long, so if you like go up to like I can't remember what side it is, but there's a side of your screen and there's like the 3 little dots. If you just click on those, or maybe it's like a tool, like a setting, like circle tool thing. I don't know. It depends what kind of phone you have. But basically, you click on that and then it'll be like playback speed. If you just set it to like 1.5, that'll make this video a lot shorter, but you can still get all the information. So if you're like, I can't sit through her talking for 12 minutes, then I got a solution for you. Anyways, like I said, love you guys. If you need anything, please message me. I hope you have lovely days. Goodbye!